Well, the Department of Homeland Security is making a few changes to the southwest border. They plan to cut 75% of the National Guard troops currently stationed at the border, just a year and a half after DHS ordered the troops to go there to counter illegal immigration. Now, this move is being called the transition rather than drawdown because, you see, even though the troops are leaving, they're beefing up a very different type of presence in the sky. That's right. A news release labels the new approach as adding aerial assets equipped with the latest surveillance and reconnaissance capabilities. So in other words, those are drones. Now, we should know that there have been Predator drones along the border since 2005, just not that many of them. U.S. Customs and Border Protection currently has 8 Predators flying along the border between Arizona and Texas. And many members of the CBP replacing boots with UAVs seems like the right move to make. Check out this report from CNN from 2010.
This is a huge area, and the Border Patrol lacks the manpower to fully patrol it. It's the reason some want to expand Predator patrols all along the southern border.
Do you think sending more Predator aircraft across the border would help?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's much more cost effective to do that.
Question is it really more cost effective? Let's break down some of the figures. DHS recently released a report about border drones helping in the capture of 4,800 undocumented immigrants and 238 drug smugglers in the past 6 years. But as the Washington Post points out, 327,000 undocumented immigrants were caught along the border in 2011 without the use of drones. And let's bring in the price factor. Currently, it costs $3,600 per hour to fly a Predator, and the government has already spent $240 million to buy and maintain those drones. So it's clear that these drones aren't cheap, and thus far they've only proven useful in 1.5% of the incidents where Customs actually captured undocumented immigrants. But CBP plans to have up to 24 of the unmanned aerial vehicles flying by 2016. Now, we've spoken in the past about how privacy advocates have fought the expansion of domestic drones. There's been plenty of outcry over privacy issues, and the FAA has been hesitant to allow these drones to fly due to safety concerns that they might cause trouble for planes. We should also note that the domestic drones boast the ability to see minute details from 15 to 20,000 feet in the sky. While flying along the border, they cannot enter Mexico. They have to stay in American airspace. So keeping all those facts in mind, you'd think that there's mounting evidence against the use of these drones. But that's before we take politics into consideration. You see, there's actually a group called the Congressional Unmanned Systems Caucus, or the Drone Caucus. Their goal is to make all kinds of drones as popular in the U.S. as possible. So obviously they're pimping out this plan regardless of what the reality is. Congressmen like Brian Billray and Henry Queller call these surveillance vehicles invaluable. Governors like Jan Brewer and Rick Perry say that they're ideal for border security. So they throw out all the data, all the statistics out the window to promote an expanded use of drones for border security. Well, let me throw one other fact out there. DHS reports show that the number of illegal immigrants have dropped dramatically, 53% in fact since 2008. That's due to a number of factors like America's struggling economy and draconian immigration laws that are popping up in states across the country. So now that you at home have all the facts, let's just remind people about what's really happening. Despite the fact that there are fewer undocumented immigrants crossing the border, DHS is going to increase the number of drones that it has, thanks in part to the Drone Caucus, who wants to push the concept of constant surveillance. So there you have it. The latest evidence that domestic drones are becoming a growing part of Homeland Security, whether we need them or not.